Hey, welcome to Collaborative Leadership. We're talking today about handling difference of opinion. Now, I have not met many leaders who would say they thrive on and love conflict. I don't know about you, it's not the leader's favorite thing usually, or anybody's favorite thing. Now, I'm not going to be talking today about conflict management. That would be a whole nother subject. But what I am talking about is how to handle the differing opinions in your team. And what I want to say to you right up front is we need to be good at this. We need to be big people, robust people who embrace differing opinions. We need to be making sure we choose teams that can bring differing opinions. The last thing you want in your team is a team of people like you. That makes all of them redundant because there's already one of you. What you need in your team are people with different personalities, different skill set, and contributions to make sure that we are making the best, robust, safest, strongest, most creative decisions for the way forward. And so we need to be recruiting on that basis and then creating an atmosphere and a culture within our team that is okay to not have the same opinion. Now, it is very important that to make that work, there is trust and respect within the team. Having a team that does not trust or respect one another is not going to be a recipe for success once differing opinions start being thrown into a meeting. So work on building trust and respect. Hey, a couple of thoughts on that and how you do that. First of all, make sure you don't build your team just on business, just on the meeting environment. Go and have some fun. Go and spend time together outside the workplace. Be in and out of each other's lives. This is particularly true when you're in church life. You want to make sure your hearts are knitted together, you're enjoying life together, because you will form a sense of mutual trust and respect and support for one another in that environment, often way more than just birthed out of the business context. And so that's important. The second thing you can do to help build trust and respect is encourage vulnerability. And you as the leader can set the tone on that. I'm not talking about a deep vulnerability. I realize that there is a place for that, and that's amongst a very close friendship environment, or with your spouse, or with an oversight, or someone who's potentially outside of that immediate circle. But what I am talking about is just normal everyday vulnerability. So for instance, you as a leader, you're not coming into the meeting going, yes, this idea will work, let's faith it forward. And you're actually prepared to bring forward both the pros and the cons of something that needs to be considered. You're being seen as someone who has rational thinking, prepared to be vulnerable about the things that may not work. Maybe you're even inviting prayer. Say, guys, need wisdom. Dealing with a lot of things here. Please support us in prayer. That's the sort of vulnerability I'm talking about that is healthy in terms of building trust and respect. So choose the right people that can handle and bring differing opinions and build trust and respect amongst them. Let's talk for a minute about that meeting environment where differing opinions happen and what needs to be taking place in order for it to be managed well. The first thing is you as the leader need to give the vibe and the intention that you're open to opinions. You need to invite it. If you get defensive every time a differing opinion comes up, then you're going to begin to shut down the creativity of future ideas within your team. You're going to devalue their contribution within the team. If you get defensive, we can't afford to get defensive. We've got to become bigger. Someone's differing opinion isn't a personal criticism of you. It's not about you. It's about the decision and the idea that we're trying to shape the way forward on. It's not personal. If you sense an attitude, if you sense wrong motives, if you sense people are starting to get personal with each other, of course we need to speak into that, and I'll come on to that in just a moment. But we need to be embracing of those differing ideas. Now, here's how it can sometimes go. In any team, you'll have those who are comfortable with bringing their opinion or even conflict. Maybe they are loud in the expression and tone of their opinion, and then you're going to have some who are less so. And you as the leader need to manage that through. Let's take that scenario where someone's being loud. Now, there are usually a couple of ways this can happen. It may be someone is loud because they're passionate about the subject. Now, if that's the case, that person needs to be heard. Usually it's better if it doesn't happen spontaneously, but that's planned into the meeting. Otherwise, the meeting could be hijacked. But they need to be heard because that passion needs to get on us all. That passion is important for the whole team to catch, for us to embrace and own this way forward in this area. And so give them a platform to speak and to share that passion. There are times where the loudness of the voice can be too much. It may be they've made a point, now they're reiterating a point, and you as a leader need to politely just calm it down and move towards someone else who hasn't yet spoken but got a valuable contribution to make, and you need to hear them. As I've said before, you need to be drawing out the voice of those who are less forthcoming because they sometimes have the richest and the best ideas, or at least something that will just help shape a previous conversation. So you need to be able to manage the loud and the quiet. Now that will also happen in the back room. That is to say, you need to be speaking into and helping shape every member of your team. So if someone is being overly contributory or overly strong in their contribution to the point where it's intimidating others to contribute, you need to speak into that, and vice versa. If someone's not speaking up, you need to speak into that. Now, the way I do this is I hold a personal development conversation with all of my team about every couple of months or so, because I want to normalize what can sometimes be awkward conversations. It shouldn't have to be awkward to be just talking about someone's improvement. People often want to embrace feedback. People need feedback. People want to know, how am I doing? Am I fulfilling expectations? Am I not fulfilling expectations? People love performance feedback. And so we need to normalize that by having routine conversations. In those conversations, I get them to tell me, what is it you feel you could grow in? What areas you could grow in? And then I will also contribute to that and go, this is what I've observed. And it's an opportunity to really encourage them in their strengths and maybe find new avenues that they can pursue that would help them enrich those strengths. And it's an opportunity to have a heart-to-heart over some of those areas they need to strengthen. When I say heart-to-heart, what I mean by that is the conversation will occasionally drop a little deeper, and that's a sweet moment when you can be honest. They can be honest with you, really open up in that area, because it builds a synergy, it builds a strength of depth of relationship. And I tell you what, if there's anything teams need, it needs to have that strength of relationship that will go the long distance. We have traveled so many years with so many of our team and been through so many things and had some very honest conversations at times. And I have a complete confidence that we can travel through yet more challenges together. We can go the journey together as the church grows, as the organization gets more complex. I know we will be able to work it through. I know we'll be able to overcome certain obstacles because relationships have gone deep enough to be able to cope with that. So don't be afraid or intimidated by those sort of conversations. They are conversations that need to be had to shape people so that they come into a meeting environment being prepared to respectfully, politely, and in a mature way express their differing opinions about a topic matter. So we've got set the team culture to embrace difference of opinion. Make sure you're choosing team members who are deliberately different. Make sure you're speaking into their world. Set a culture of trust and respect. Now, let's now talk about how you make a decision when there have been tabled difference of opinion. That's not always easy. Sometimes hearing the difference of opinion is even the easier part. Trying to conclude it can be the tougher part. Now, the culture you need to have developed in your team to conclude decisions is this: we may not always agree, but we will always leave this room with one voice and with one action. That is to say, we have shared our opinion. We think the wise way forward is this. This is the common sense of opinion. But not everyone will have shared that opinion, but everyone is prepared to go forward and action that decision and speak with one voice. There's nothing worse than someone going out of a meeting and beginning to share with others their displeasure of their opinion not being heard. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. Set a culture that you will always go forward with one voice and with one opinion. So you need to break down what the objections are and one by one work through them to bring agreement. It may be that you need to do some of that outside the meeting. Let's say there's one particular person who has an objection to a decision that is starting to be made. You may need to give them an extra ear. Start listening to their opinion a little more and see if there's something you can take from that will help shape that opinion or decision further. Or it may be that you will have to help them just come off the high place, settle down that opinion of theirs, and come on board. As I said just now, that we would work forward with one voice and one action. It's your job as the leader to bring them to that point of common agreement, even if they have to lay down their decision. Just finally, there are moments where the decision is so important you need a unanimous opinion. Even if it means laying down a decision for a while to give more thought to it. Sometimes it is so important. You need to make sure you've got the buy-in of everyone, that you carefully remove all the obstacles, solve them, make sure everyone is owning it. It's not you as a leader having to solve objections. You're going, hey guys, okay, these are the objections. We need to solve these. Come on, let's solve these so that we can make a unanimous decision here. On those really big decisions, it's probably not the best time for you as the leader to pull out that trump card that says, hey guys, I'm going to make the decision for us here. If you have to, you can. This is not a democracy, and therefore you should. But it is much better on those big decisions not to have to do that. Much better to leave that trump card for the less important decisions. Okay guys, I hope that's been helpful today. Make sure that we're forging teams that are comfortable with handling difference of opinion. Make sure you as a leader are setting the culture for that and working with people one-on-one outside the meeting to make sure you're gaining their buy-in and handling differences of opinion. Well, I know you can do this. I believe in you. Let's make this work for the better of collaborative decision making.